The One Man Show Network. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey everyone, welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum, and today we're going to pick fights for the second event on Fight Island. Of course, UFC 251 taking place next week, and this is kind of a weird in the middle of the day Periscope, so sorry about that. But the good news is there'll be two podcasts this week. The downloads have been crazy lately for this podcast, and I want to thank all of you, and I'm continuing to stick with Periscope because that's my number one source of viewers and interaction and all that stuff. But just know that I have a multi-streaming type situation coming soon, as well as a few other pretty neat opportunities for those of you that have stuck with me. I'll give you more details when that happens, but another bonus episode, like I said, for Figueiredo and the Benavides fight show will drop on Thursday. Yes, Thursday. But first, let's just go over UFC 251 here. The fights I did not pick as well as normal. Uzumir versus Prochazka. Prochazka starched him in round 2. It was kind of crazy. Rivas Van Zant went about like I thought it would. I think they're just trying to get Paige out of there to take away some of her contract negotiation ability or whatnot. Rose Namajunas versus Andrade, Jessica Andrade. Rose proved me wrong and definitely proved more mentally stable than I gave her credit for. So congratulations, Rose. I know that was tough to come back from, and she had some, people in her family die of coronavirus and whatnot. So good on her. Piotr Yan, Jose Aldo. So I picked Aldo for the upset just on strength of schedule and, just the fact that Aldo's been in there before, but gosh, it was 2-2 going into the 5th. And Piotr just turned it on and just knocked Aldo silly. So, but still, Aldo, all the wars he's been through, reinventing himself another weight class, it's a very good chance he'll find himself back in there with 1 or 2 wins because everyone wants to watch Aldo fight. So, and apparently for a title. Volkanovski Holloway, not much to say about that. Holloway was robbed, I guess. And you could make an argument he won the first one. I didn't think that was as clear as a robbery. But you don't know. And then finally, Kamaru Usman, Jorge Masvidal went exactly like I thought it would. Short notice, whatever. Masvidal doesn't do as good against these grappling type guys, and Usman kind of showed him there. But we're going to talk about this week, Fight Island, the second event of Fight Island. Not only is the UFC the only one bringing sports, but we got 2 events in 1 week. It is insane. I want to be on Yas Island. Get me on Yas Island. I'll do all the tests in the quarantine. That would be awesome. Anywho, this one. Okay, so right away I was worried about this fight. This is Jared Gordon's return to featherweight against Chris Fishgold. And we all know that Jared had trouble making weight in the past. And just a reminder, if you are on the Periscope, feel free to jump in and help me pick fights. But here's what happened. Apparently, Chris Fishgold was the guy that missed weight, not Jared Gordon. So, and I like that Jared came in. He didn't have to make 145. He could have made 146, but he made 145. So, championship weight on Jared Gordon. And what a mentally tough guy. Everything he's been through. And now I hear that all his coaches have COVID and somehow Paul Felder is coaching him. I don't know. Which is good on these guys because I don't even think that he's training at a Rufus Sport anymore. That would be Jared, not Paul Felder. So very interesting here. But let's get to it first. Chris Fishgold just lost a submission to Makwan Americani, who actually did win it also at UFC 251. That was back in June. Has a win over Daniel Tamir. TKO by Calvin Kattar, who's on the main card this week. Before that, he's had some notable wins, but this is back in 2017. And Jared Gordon, man, he really, I mean, it was a beating against Oliveira that last fight. And, I think he broke his orbital and some other things and this and that. And it made him certainly think about fighting 155 pounds. But, he's just had some tough losses. And and some of them just come down to the wire, Dan Moret, he did win that decision. Joaquim Silva was the one I was thinking of. Man, that was a tough loss in the third round. Carlos Diego Ferreira. Thanks for the hearts. Feel free to help me pick fights. But before that, he's got some nice wins too. In his return to lightweight, Hakron Diaz. But I'm so glad he made weight for this fight. And you know what? I like him in this fight. I do. He's just been fighting these bigger, meaner guys, and 100% go Jared Gordon, friend of the podcast. It's not why I'm picking you. I'm picking you because I think you got this. So if you are listening, brother, good luck this week, tomorrow. I like this fight too. Jimmy Rivera versus Cody Stamann. Why do I like this fight? Because nobody's cutting weight here. They're fighting at featherweight instead of bantamweight. And so what you're going to see here, I think you're going to see a better Cody Stamann possibly than Jimmy Rivera. Let me tell you why. Because, Stamann just fought, and what an emotional win that was. He had a brother that just died, but just fought and won against Brian Kelleher. Now, both these guys fight at bantamweight naturally, but Stamann looked like a 145-pounder, like legit. Like, he's a big dude. He said he doesn't like fighting at 145 because, he feels he's smaller, short arms and whatnot, but he looked good. So Stamann had that win against Kelleher in June. That weird draw against Song Yadong, which he probably should have won. Alejandro Perez, he's got to win there. His last real loss, was Aljamain Sterling back in September 2018, and that was the Sulov stretch, or the Funk Streusel, as you may want to call it, where basically you snap a guy's hamstring in half. Ouch. Let's take a look here at Jimmy, though. 2 losses in a row. Piotr Jan, Aljamain Sterling as well. Has a win in John Dodson there back in 2018. I like Stamann in this fight. I do. 135 pounds, I may pick this fight differently, but the way this is at featherweight, yeah, man, I think I like it. I think I like it for Cody Stamann, and all of a sudden 2 wins in a row. My prediction. You never know. All right. Next up, the main event of the evening, Calvin Kattar versus Dan Ige. You notice that Calvin did just win back in May against Jeremy Stevens, and that was in 2 rounds, TK with elbows. He has lost to Zabit Magomed back in November last year, but, he's got 2 good wins in Ricardo Lamas and Chris Fishgold, and that's going back in all the way to 2018. Dan Ige, okay, so just fought Edson Barbosa in a fight that I thought Barbosa would lose handily and not be able to make the weight. But again, guys are proving me wrong left and right during this pandemic. I think it's just a matter, these guys want it more. Really a chance for some of these guys to star, their stars to shine when you got people holding out and all that other stuff. Man. So, that's super neat. But, that was a win for Ige. I thought Barbosa probably had it, but it wasn't like just a total and complete robbery. He's got wins over Mursat Bektik, Kevin Aguilar, Danny Henry, Jordan Griffin, Mike Santiago, and man, I don't know. Kattar's a slugger though, or Kattar's a slugger. He lost a decision to Zabit. Okay, Ige may or may not won that Barbosa fight, but it was a tough fight, and it just took place in May. So I don't know if that's enough time for him to recover rather. So I'm going with Kattar, Calvin Kattar, the Bostonian, for this fight. All right. Well, that'll wrap it up. I'll be back again Thursday. Thank you so much for those of you that were listening, even though you were quiet. I still love you all. And like I said, more good things to come with this podcast. So until a couple of days from now, shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.